Hello and shalom, friends. It's Mayim here again. And I'd like to welcome you to the Arukah Holistic Podcast, where we explore holistic approaches to wellness, transformation, and empowerment. And at arukah.com, we're passionate about empowering individuals through our Holistic Healer Certification Program, where students learn naturopathic herbalism, holistic life coaching, and online business and marketing. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and equip holistic healers who are ready to make a difference in the world. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce a guest whose journey in literature aligns with our vision of holistic growth and empowerment. Paul D. McDonald has dedicated his life to inspiring young readers with his Flaugherty Twins Mysteries series. I pronounced that correctly. Paul's books not only bring adventure and intrigue to life, but also subtly weave in character building moments, faith, and family dynamics that resonate deeply with readers. A storyteller from an early age, Paul is now a seasoned author with multiple books in his series that are loved by kids and adults alike. In this episode, Paul will share his journey from writing his first book at age 15 to bringing a series to life that he hopes will inspire the next generation. Join us as we dive into the world of the Flaugherty twins, discussing the importance of values, personal growth, and purpose-driven storytelling. Hello, Paul. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. So the reason why I I don't normally bring in fiction authors to talk on my podcast, but I'm a homeschool mother of 9, and I'm always looking for good books with godly values. And we're Jewish. I know you're Catholic, but your books aren't, they're not only for Catholics, right?
No.
They're just about, why don't you talk about what they're about?
What they are is simple teenage sleuth mystery stories. That's the heart of the books. It just so happens that my characters happen to be Irish American and Catholic, but that's not significant, nor is that a focus of it. It's just kind of a background thing that is for the stories to give you a sense of who the characters are.
All right. And can you tell us about how you got started in writing when you were 15 and how that's evolved to the mystery series?
Sure. Actually, my first foray into writing was in grade school. I was in grade school and we had a contest to write a story on pollution. And I wrote a short story and won first prize. So, but for some reason, I don't think the writing bug bit me back then. It wasn't until I was in freshman English class and the teacher that I had, I guess he inspired me. He had asked us to do an essay on an object lesson. And instead of an essay, I wrote a short story. And when the short story was finished, I just knew I wanted to be a writer. And so that was probably, ninth grade, I was probably 13 or 14. So it took a little while before I developed the Flaugherty twins, but it was not very much longer after that. I was an avid reader. I love the Hardy Boys book series. I used to also read when my sister brought her Nancy Drew books home from the library. I would read those as well. So I read those as well. And I like those stories, but I wanted to get something that was a little closer to who I was. We all want to see ourselves in the stories. And so my characters ended up being Irish American and Catholic. And they're about as Catholic as I was back then, which was not very. I was more, I guess, what you call culturally Catholic. Um, I attended church and all that kind of thing. And I liked going to church. It wasn't that I disliked it. And our family did devotions together and things like that. So faith was very much a part of my life, but it wasn't deep. It was very surface. And at that time, I actually explored other spiritual avenues, some of which are occult, which was not good. But I eventually had an experience of an encounter with God in my junior year of high school that kind of changed everything for me. And I started the first book at age 15. So it was already finished when I had that experience. And I was actually already started, I believe, working on the second book at that point. Um, that kind of changed everything for me. It made me really step back and say, what do I want to accomplish with these books? Do I just want to tell fun stories that are exciting to read, or do I want to do something more with them? And I think what I discovered was I definitely wanted to do something more. The stories are chronological. Uh, there's some elements that follow from one story to the other, so you could read them in order. You don't have to. They are standalone stories. But what my purpose now is, that I decided after all that, was that I wanted to have characters that would also grow in their faith as much like I had done. And so they start out barely Catholic. And as the series progresses, they will have more and more experiences that will deepen their faith as well. So faith will become very much a part of the stories. Again, the main thing is mysteries. They're solving mysteries. Sometimes faith does not appear at all in the stories. Other times it's more important in the stories. I've written 7 books so far. I've only published the first 2. I'm working on getting the third one published now. So I've kind of got a sense of that progression already with the characters. And I'm excited about it because I want to see them grow in their faith as well as in their detecting skills, as it were. Even though neither of them wants to be, they're brother and sister, fraternal twins. Neither of them wants to be a detective. Pat, the boy, Patrick, wants to be a journalist, and his sister Patty wants to be a lawyer. So they definitely aren't thinking about being detectives. They just happen to walk into situations where this mysteries are foisted upon them, and they deal with them. And so we get to see a little bit of that too, of how they enjoy it, but it's not their main thing. But I think that gives you the sense of who they are too, because they will develop as people through the series. So I'm excited about that. Have I answered the question?
Yes, awesome. So what kind of lessons do they learn in the story? It's like, how do you learn character building through mystery stories? Because I've never really, I don't think I've ever seen that done.
Oh, it's not a critical part of the story. It's kind of almost secondary. In the first book, I think the one lesson that they learn is that love conquers all. It's called Mystery at the Haunted Castle, and spoiler alert, the castle is not haunted. But there is one point where the owner of the castle has a dream, and her deceased grandfather visits her in the dream. And that perhaps is an actual encounter with the supernatural. And Patty, at the end of the story, says to the girl, she says, I don't know why that happened or how it happened, but I think it just shows how much your grandfather loved you. So it's that kind of thing, very subtle. In the second story, Mystery on Campus, the main character, Ted, he's a real character. He's a football player, and he's very full of himself. And he doesn't like rules, and he doesn't follow them. He thinks everybody else should, but he doesn't. And he learns a little bit at the end about, well, I wouldn't call it humility because I don't think he's gained that yet, but he's learned the importance of the choices we make and how they can affect things, and the understanding of maybe mercy in his situation, where he doesn't have to pay the consequences for his sins. So those kind of lessons. The third book, let me see, that's Lost on Black Mountain, it's called. That one doesn't exist yet, at least not in published form. I actually have my cover designer working on the cover right now, so hopefully by next year it'll be out. It takes a little bit of a process to get the whole book done. In that one, I'm not sure what they learned. Oh, I know what it is. Again, your actions have consequences. A couple of the characters do some things that are not so good, and they end up paying for the consequences. And the twins point that out to them at the end of the book. So it's that kind of thing where, life lessons that are not a major part of the story, but are definitely woven in to the mystery.
Mhm.
So
the primary purpose of the books are entertainment.
I'd say, yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. They're mostly entertainment. They're definitely just fun stories that have cliffhanger chapter endings, so they keep you turning the pages. They're exciting stories. They get in jeopardy a lot. They have to use their brains and luck to get out of a lot of situations. But every once in a while they do learn something too. They're both flawed characters, which is one thing I did not like about Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, was they were kind of perfect. Nancy could never do anything wrong. She was talented at everything she did, and she of course excelled and was better than everybody else. And I just found that unrealistic. My characters are
kind of annoying, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you still rooted for them and you still enjoyed the mystery, but it kind of put them off a little bit from me. Whereas Pat and Patty are definitely flawed characters. I actually heard someone describe Pat as a brute. He can be pretty point blank a lot of times, and he says what's on his mind, and oftentimes he does it before he thinks about the consequences of what he's saying. Patty is very critical of her brother, and so they can go at each other a little bit every once in a while, but at the same time they definitely love each other, and they show that. So there's that familiar bond there that keeps them going in the right direction. Plus I also added, and this is probably from my earlier days of delving into other spiritual things, they have a psychic connection. As twins, they are very close to each other, but this psychic connection will come out periodically in the stories as well, that they know what's going on in each other's heads sometimes when most people wouldn't. So it's kind of a little extra twist in there.
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that with twins.
Yeah. Usually it happens with identical twins, so fraternal twins is a little less usual.
Okay, but it's a story. It's a story, so you can do
can
whatever you want there. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
actually, they say you're supposed to write what you know, and my first book takes place in France. I have never been to France. I had 5 years of French class when I was in high school and college, but that's not quite the same thing. So that was a mistake I made of not choosing to write something I know. But you live, you learn. My second book takes place at college, and I actually wrote it while I was in college. And although the places I choose, other than France, are not real places, I choose to make them imaginary places so that I can have some license to do things that are, somebody said, "Oh, that's Penn State you're talking about there." They would say, "But that didn't happen at Penn State that way," or "that building wasn't located there," or whatever. And when I make it, it's Penn State, but it's not Penn State. So that way I can choose to move the buildings if I want to. So, but yeah, so I have that liberty to do that with fiction. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I've chosen to keep doing that too. So like in the fourth book, it takes place in a little city in Florida that I made up. So it may resemble another city there, but it's definitely a made up city.
All right, awesome. Yeah, my oldest son, he is going to be 21 soon, and when he was, I don't maybe fourth grade, third grade, something like that. He was doing really good in other subjects, but he was doing very poorly in English. Not that he didn't, and I homeschooled them. Not that he didn't know English well or anything like that, but he just hated the work. He just hated doing that particular work. He hated writing most of all. He hated writing. And I remember we were like, you need to write more. He got really mad and he like ran away. Not forever. He just like ran into the neighborhood and didn't come home for a while. And he just really, really hated it. And then we found a really good writing curriculum called IEW, in the Institute for Excellence in Writing. We tried that for a homeschool curriculum, and the teacher of that program was just so inspiring. And he really loved it. He really started enjoying writing that from that moment on. And they made him write a lot of short stories. And then when I think it was in 8th grade, there was an assignment, or maybe 9th grade, there was an assignment to write a book, a fiction book.
Oh, wow.
And then he loved it, and he wrote one, and it was about, he combined like superpowers with the Holocaust, and a boy who was there during the Holocaust, and he had superpowers, but they weren't like too crazy where he could just end it all. He could still get killed, he could still get hurt and stuff like that. And he wasn't that brave. He was kind of fearful, which made it kind of captivating, because it was
It's relatable.
it was a very much more relatable. Yeah. So that's really cool. I hope he didn't want to be an author, though. He was like, I don't want to have to do it. I only want to do it when I want to do it. I'm like, okay. So she actually went to computer science instead, even though he enjoys writing. He still does that as a hobby.
But see, that makes the world of difference with having a teacher that inspires. And I think that was the case with my teacher too in 9th grade. I felt inspired by him. And that's kind of what set me off in the right direction. So, and I love writing, so it's not a problem for me to do that. And I've been doing it for years. The first book I took from the start when I started it at age 15, with all the rewrites and everything that I've done with it, and finally getting it published took 50 years.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, when I started it to when I finished it was 50 years. So
yeah. And when you had another job.
Yes, I had several other jobs in
Yeah.
there. So
what is your main profession, or at least right now?
right
Or
now
maybe you're retired.
thank goodness.
Maybe the
But
last one.
my last one was working at a marketing company.
Okay.
And I was their media director, so I did all their media buying for them.
Okay.
It's lots of fun. No, I'm not a salesman, so I didn't really enjoy that part of it, which involved a lot of that kind of thing. But I still I love the company, and they do some wonderful things. We mostly work with nonprofits and religious organizations, and they help them write their fundraising letters. They help them develop their websites, all that kind of thing. And so I got to be a little part of that. And also, because of my background in writing, they also let me be their proofreader. And in fact, I still do that part-time for them on the side. So I do a little bit of that for them. And that's a lot of fun because I get to read some of the exciting things that are happening. And our company is very pro-Israel. The owner of the company has been to Israel many, many times. He's taken tour groups there. He's a pastor in addition to being owner of a company. I don't think he's pastored a church in years though, and he loves Israel. And so we have a lot of clients that are Israel based or Israel focused. And I've learned a lot from doing that. So it's pretty cool. So
that's very good to hear. We need allies right now for sure.
yes.
So
I just heard of an organization called One Family that does ministering to people that have been victims of terrorism in Israel. And I thought that was a really worthwhile organization from the sounds of it. So.
Yeah. I think everyone in Israel either has a family member or knows someone who either has fought in the war or has experienced a death, or some kind of trauma because of what's happened right now. But that's a different topic for a different
yes,
episode.
It is. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no need to apologize. Well, thank you so much for writing good in terms of like good books with good values for children. We definitely need people to be doing that now and continually. Things that teach good values and good lessons, while at the same time entertaining our children. This is actually how children, I think, learn to read the easiest is when they're reading entertaining fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I
good.
think what it amounts to is worldview. It comes down to your worldview. Everybody has a worldview, and that's how you perceive things and how you think about things based on your experience. And if your worldview is not godly, no matter what you create, it's going to reflect that. And at the same time, if your worldview is godly, then you will create godly things regardless of how didactic they are, or how specifically spiritual they are. They're going to be godly just because of that. And so I think that is something to think about when you're looking for books for your children, as to, what is this writer like? Who is this person? Are they someone that I would want my children to read their books? And that's, I think, a key thing that you need to think about when you're looking for books. So hopefully my books are something that people will look at and say, yeah, I see a foundation of faith here. Yeah. Even if it may not be explicit in the stories, I see it anyways. And I'm encouraged by it. So
yes, that's an excellent closing statement. Those are great words to live by. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again, Paul. And I'll add the links to your books and your sites to the video description.
Okay. God bless. Thank you very much.
Shalom. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Algar and I am the host at Expertise TV, and I'm very excited to be introducing you to our guest today, Mayim Vega. Now, Mayim Vega is a former NASA computer scientist turned holistic healer after facing a very personal health crisis, which the modern medical system could not resolve. In 2009, she founded Arukah.com, which offers an holistic healer certification program focusing on 3 pillars: naturopathic herbalism, holistic life coaching, and online business and marketing, to empower people to become holistic healers and achieve maximum impact in the world. Mayim combines her scientific background, natural healing methods, and faith in the creator and great physician to guide others on a path to personal and professional well-being. Mayim, it's clear that you are very passionate about the topic of holistic health, and particularly helping people who are wanting to transition into this approach. How did you find yourself in this line of work, and why is this work so important to you?
Thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to speak with me. And I'd love to answer that question. So the way I found myself in this line of work starts with my story of when I transitioned from becoming a computer scientist at the NASA Ames Research Center to becoming an entrepreneur and building my first online business in digital marketing. And the reason why I did that is so that I could stay at home and be with my newly born son at the time. And now I have 7 children of my own, and I always wanted to homeschool them and just be there for them. And so that's why I became an entrepreneur. But my first few years as an entrepreneur was extremely difficult. And I thought it was healthy, but later on, after all my studies, I realized there were a lot of things that I was doing that was not very healthy. They were not very healthy habits that I had. And what ended up happening was I got really sick, and I thought I was on my deathbed. And I was rushed to the emergency room, and the doctor actually thought that I had a brain tumor. But after extensive testing and examination, she told me that there was nothing wrong with me. I just, I was experiencing a lot of pain, but they had nothing for me. There was nothing they could do for me. She said that she could give me some really strong painkillers, but that's really it. She couldn't really get rid of the problem. And so I took the painkillers, but again, painkillers and any pharmaceutical drug never address the root cause of illness and disease. And that's exactly why this line of work is so important to me, and why I went on my own personal journey to become a holistic healer, to study nutrition, herbalism, holistic health, and holistic life coaching, is because we all know people, and maybe probably even ourselves, who, just like me, went to the modern medical system because that's the expected thing to do. That's a normal thing to do. And, tried to get health and healing that way, but hit a dead end, hit a brick wall, and we either got medications that didn't work, or that only worked for a while, or that caused side effects that were so terrible that we had to get on other medications, plural, and maybe even the medication or medications caused side effects that caused other health issues. And sometimes the health issues are worse than the first problem that you originally had. And we're on this ridiculous roller coaster of drug after drug, after treatment, after procedure, because the modern medical system never addresses the root cause. And medical professionals who have woken up know this. And that's why I have medical professionals in my program, including, doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, medical technicians, etc., who are learning from me, who are, taking the certification program, because they realize that our system is broken and we need to fix it. It is our destiny as humanity to overcome all this nonsense, really. We can do better, and we will do better. I know it. And that's why, in my certification program, sometimes I joke around. No, it's not really a joke, but I say, I'm empowering not just holistic healers, but holistic warriors. We're in a battle. We're in a battle over our own health and healing, to safeguard and protect that, and that of our families and friends and community, of course, as well. And we're also in a battle against very powerful people who, because of profits, like to suppress holistic health and healing truths to keep us just sick enough so that we need something, pharmaceuticals, but not well enough to ever get off them. That is truly the goal of big pharma, of the pharmaceutical industry. It's not true. They don't want to heal us. They don't want to cure us. They want to keep us just sick enough so that we keep giving them our money. And you know what? Me personally, I have better things to spend with my money, like on good food, clean herbs, things that don't cause these ridiculous side effects that we experience with pharmaceutical drugs.
Thank you, Mayim. So that brings me to my next question. What are some of the key benefits of transitioning from the conventional healing approach to a holistic approach in health and healing?
Okay, so that's another really great and important question. The key benefits of transitioning from conventional healing to a holistic approach are, right now, I can think of three main reasons. Number one, the holistic approach is safer. Number two, the holistic approach is more effective. And number three, the holistic approach is the true approach that gets to the root cause. Okay. Now, I'd like to illustrate the first point, the safety of holistic medicine. If someone who was taking some, let's say blood pressure medication or something like that, visited me at my house, let's say I invited them over for dinner, and let's say they had to take some of their medicine and they dropped one of their pills, right, in my dining room or in my living room floor. Now, I have very small children. I have a 4-year-old. And what if my 4-year-old found that pill on the floor and thought it was candy or something like that and put it in her mouth and ate it? What would happen? I would immediately have to call the poison control center to get that pill out of her system, because those pills can have deadly side effects. But what if someone dropped a vitamin C pill or a tincture, you know, and one of my children found it? For the most part, if they found it and took it, they might have a little diarrhea. It might be really spicy on their tongue, and so they would stop taking it. But no, I wouldn't have to control the poison control center, because vitamins and herbs and minerals are extremely, like 1,000 times safer than pharmaceutical drugs. There's a few types of, supplements that you might have to call the poison control center, but for the most part, no, you won't have to do that, because our body knows how to work with those substances. It is not a drug. It is a healing tool. Okay. So completely safe. Also, exercise, diet, those are all safe, right? Sleep, those are all part of holistic health and healing. Completely safe, zero side effects. Now, let's talk about the effectiveness. The holistic approach is more effective. And the reason why we know this is because in my practice, and this is the experience of many holistic healers, when it comes to the conventional ways with the pharmaceutical drugs, as I said before, they don't deal with the root cause. They just mask symptoms. So, you might take a cough suppressant, let's say, for example, but if you are not dealing with the root cause, why are you coughing in the first place? Why do you have allergies? Why do you have the flu, etc.? Why is your immune system not strong enough to overcome this in just a few hours or just a day or two, overnight? Why? Because you have not built up your immune system. You haven't boosted it or lived the kind of life that you need to in order to avoid those common illnesses altogether. I have one of my students is a medical doctor, and she said that she used to take anti-allergy drugs every single week because of her allergies. The allergy drugs don't boost your immune system. They just suppress it. They just oppress your allergy symptoms. But when you have allergy symptoms, it's your body talking to you and telling you, hey, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this thing that you're eating or this environment that you've just stepped into because of my state of being. I'm not strong enough. That's what your immune system is saying to you. But I taught her a really powerful vitamin protocol that actually boosts your immune system so that your immune system is strong enough to overcome allergies. And so that's the difference. It is effective because it is true. It is true holistic health and healing because it strengthens your immune system. It doesn't silence it, like I said before. And the third issue is the root cause. Holistic health and healing deals with the root cause, and the conventional approach of drugs and surgery, etc., does not. That doesn't mean that you sometimes don't need surgery, for example, or in an emergency situation need a drug, but you're not dealing with the root cause. And if you deal with the root cause, you can make your problems either go away or become extremely minimal, safely, effectively, and naturally, without poisoning your body and causing the roller coaster of side effects.
Mayim, you have developed an incredible program that you've already mentioned called the Arukah Holistic Healer Certification Program, which you have specifically created for those looking to either transition into the holistic approach or for those who are wanting to grow in their knowledge and practice. Can you talk us through what differentiates this program from other similar programs that are currently out there?
Thank you, Ashley. Yes, the certification program at Arukah.com is really, truly incredible. And there's a few things that set it apart, actually many things, but I'd like to focus on a few. And one of them is that when I designed the program, I designed it for someone who is in my situation many years ago. Someone who was a busy mom who had a lot of work to do and, a lot of things on her plate, but still wanted to empower herself with the knowledge of holistic health and healing for herself, for her family, so she could take care of her family, and maybe even build a career where, very specifically, she could stay at home and, just like me, be a stay-at-home mom. And, even a homeschool mom. I've been a homeschool mom. My oldest is 20 now, and I homeschooled him the whole way. And he's already graduated college, and he's got a computer science degree, and he's an entrepreneur himself. I instilled that dream in him. So being able to, I was able to surpass my income at NASA, and still homeschool my children. It's pretty awesome achievement. And so I wanted to empower people in my program to do exactly the same as I've done, to become a holistic healer, to have a successful online business so that they can have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, meaning that there's no glass ceiling. No one who you need to get a raise from. You just have to help people. That's how I get paid, is when I help people, right? And so that's one of the advantages. Another advantage is it's very hands-on and apprenticeship based. And you could go to a college to study to become a naturopathic doctor, or another holistic professional like a chiropractor. But it's going to take a lot more money, and a lot more time as well. This program can be completed in 1 year, but because all of my students pretty much are busy professionals already, or busy moms, it's self-paced. So if you have a lot of things on your plate, it's okay. It's still going to be there for you. There's not like a time limit. You're not going to, your grade's not going to be lowered because you submit an assignment late or anything like that. It's self-paced. And so I've designed it for the busy mom, or the working woman. And another thing that sets it apart is we have three core pillars in our program. One is that our students study naturopathic herbalism. And that takes up the bulk of our program. And naturopathic herbalism includes studying the foundations of holistic health and healing, identifying toxins and detoxification, also nutrition and orthomolecular nutrition, or megadose vitamin therapy, as well as herbalism, which includes also homeopathy and aromatherapy with essential oils. And also they study Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. But it's mostly focused on Western medicine, Western herbalism, and then the next core pillar, the second one, is holistic life coaching. And the reason why holistic life coaching is part of the program is to incorporate the mind spirit aspect of it, right? If herbs and supplements are the alternative to pharmaceutical drugs, well, holistic life coaching is like the holistic alternative to psychiatry. It deals with the mind and the spirit, and spirit has to be part of it because we are spiritual beings. We're not just physical beings. We're also spiritual beings. Now, a lot of holistic health and healing schools are based on, different religions, New Age, or, other pagan religions. And this program, because I'm Jewish, is based on the Creator. It's based on the Bible and biblical principles, Judeo-Christian principles. And so therefore I have a lot of people who are of that faith persuasion, Jews, Christians, or people who maybe, they don't really identify as Jewish or Christian, but they're open to it, or they grew up in that faith. And they don't necessarily want all the new age spirituality. They want the kind of spirituality that they are comfortable with and used to. That's another thing that sets us apart. And life coaching is all about mindset and how to have healthy relationships with yourself, with others. Of course, also, with food and your body and lifestyle. Holistic life coaching encompasses all of that. And it's a very important part of holistic health and healing, especially because stress is often the root cause of many illnesses, common illnesses, and also chronic diseases. So, that mind and spirit aspect is very important. And the third aspect is online business marketing. And again, the reason why that's important is because, as I told you, I really want my students to thrive and to be able to, have that time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, which an online business provides. But also because, there's not a lot of jobs for herbalists, or life coaches even. And so we really have to be entrepreneurial. And it's very, very rewarding. And because of my background, with my digital marketing business, my first business, I can really help people in that department.
Thanks so much, Mayim. So I love the power of testimony and hearing people's personal experiences or journeys. Can you share some of the success stories that might be coming to mind or testimonials from past students?
Yes, we certainly have a lot of success stories and testimonials, and we'll show some of those testimonials at the end of our talk today in this video. But I could talk about a few of them that are maybe recent. One of them is one of my students. She told me that she wanted to become a nutritionist, but I guess her life's journey didn't really allow for that. So when she heard about my program, my certification program, when it first launched, she joined, and she really wanted to help her husband, who had been suffering from colitis under the care of doctors for about 20 years, ever since he was in the military. And he was going from medication to medication and, suffering with diarrhea and insomnia and restless legs and indigestion and, all these terrible things that colitis can cause. And so I actually created a custom module for her to help her husband with that. And in 2 months, she helped her husband get off the medication and heal from colitis using food and herbs and natural holistic healing methods. So that was a great accomplishment for her. And, I get people, contacting me saying that I helped them grow their hair back, or actually someone said, oh, you helped save save a little girl's life, just beautiful, wonderful things like that. You helped me heal my daughter, you helped me grow, regrow my teeth so I don't have pain from cavities anymore, like just all these wonderful testimonies. And that's the reason why I love doing what I do. And, and you will too, if you join the program. It's so rewarding and fulfilling to understand and to know that you are helping people, truly helping people in ways that they can't get in the modern medical system. It's so rewarding.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mayim. I can only imagine the sense of reward when people start applying these principles to their lives and actually see a change and transformation. And for somebody as passionate as you are around this topic, to witness that and to be a part of that, I imagine that the reward is priceless. So another common question that arises is, once someone completes the program, what are some of the practical steps one would take in order to start a successful career in holistic health?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's actually what the third pillar of our program is all about is, what do you do? Practical steps and what you would do to start a successful career in holistic health. And in that program, we teach our students how to create a high ticket transformational health coaching program that really helps people deal with a serious a problem, a serious health issue. And that doesn't mean that it's a deadly, problem, but it can be something that really affects their life, right? Even skin disorders can really affect your life, right? Even though it's not necessarily deadly. Weight loss could be something that is dealing with a serious issue. There's so many different types of health coaching programs that one can make, anxiety, depression, hormonal issues, etc. So they build, and it's part of the program. They will do this while they're still in the program, and we'll support them the whole way. Is to build that first high ticket health coaching program, and then set up their online assets, such as their website, their social media, a video sales letter, press releases, podcasts, all those things that online entrepreneurs need in order to connect with people, get their message of health and healing out there, and build and grow and scale their business.
Thank you so much, Mayim. It's been so great talking with you today. But before we close, for those that would like to get started on the journey to becoming an holistic healer and wanting to learn a little bit more about the certification program, how do they go about contacting you?
Yes, it's been wonderful talking to you today as well. And for all those who would like to get started on their journey to become a holistic healer and learn more about the certification program, all they need to do is visit the website, www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com, and dig into that and schedule a discovery call. And I would love to be your mentor, your health coach, your teacher in guiding you to become a holistic healer, to become the healer of your home and your family and your community, and to help you build a profitable online health coaching business.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mayim. So there we have it, folks. If you are ready to move forward in your own journey of becoming a holistic healer, then you can visit the website at www.arukah.com, where you can schedule your first discovery call. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.